Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another reading. I am going to call this reading valid for like the next 2-3 weeks, the energy in this reading. So let's go ahead and get a card out here. Maybe give us a theme for those next few weeks. I will be doing readings for the signs and get those out by this weekend. So, okay. Spirit, can you give us an idea of the energy over the next few weeks? Of course. We've got the prayer and the unseen. At the bottom of the deck, we have the desert. I have been feeling some energy of the desert here lately. It's very interesting. Let's get the book out and take a look at this energy. As I feel into it, you know, I do think this is a message about faith and about having faith in self, faith in having faith in what you know to be true. Now I do know there is this thing where I think, okay, start over again, Aisha. So this is about faith, but it is about faith in self. And it's almost, we're coming into a time where we might feel alone, but the point is to not give up on ourselves. That's the point. That's exactly what I'm feeling here. So let's go ahead and read the prayer. LX. Okay, the prayer, the worship, the reverence, the homage. What is prayer? When we are in a state of prayer and when we are not. When are we in a state of prayer and when are we not? To whom or what do we pray? Archetypally, the practice of prayer has been with us since the dawn of time as a remedy for the omnipresent self-centered thinking that spins us toward illusion. Prayer leads us beyond our ego as we move from our little story to the big one. Some say we are in a state of prayer anytime we are not the center of our own thoughts. Others say prayer is a natural result of gratitude. Perhaps it is simply surrender or service. Whatever prayer is for you, this card reminds us of its importance. Get quiet, low, humble, and soft. Bow and touch the ground as your heart lifts into the sky. Though it may be uncomfortable, it is time. Nothing else will do. Experiment with the act of bowing down. Nearly all spiritual traditions make a practice of prostration. Every song, kiss, breath, word can become a prayer. It is a feeling, not an action. Consider the ancient mantra, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. Bow to the creative consciousness within. I bow to the creative consciousness within. I bow to the teacher within. Yeah. And it's interesting, you know, prayer in this sense, while it says on the one hand, you know, it's self-centered thinking, there is this idea of praying to the self and acknowledging the inner self. I feel like this is not just an acknowledgement of faith, this is the acknowledgement of the soul that resides within you, the creative consciousness that resides within you, and the teacher that also resides within you. This is what the prayer is. But again, it's one of those things that's just really important to understand. This is not something that is external of you. You may get signs and synchronicities that are external of you, but it is time to now see the consciousness within you and the teacher within you. And hold on tightly to that. Do not let it go. All right, let's take a look at the unseen. Let's see. Yeah, I don't need to read the rest of that. There's the desert. Let's look for the unseen. Here we go. The unseen, the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence, though it rallies our attention time and time again. The energy of the unseen may come in many forms: a compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision, or a message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications, as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen. The sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. Again, that is again referencing the internal, the unseen, your spirit. You must bow to the spirit within you and understand that this is now a time when you can have these connections that go across worlds. You are a spirit. Therefore, you can commune in spiritual spaces. Let's go and talk about the desert. Actually, let me read this stuff on the side. Guidance comes in many forms. Don't expect it to be glittery or comfortable. The spirit world speaks the truth. Sometimes it soothes and sometimes it burns. Being graced by the unseen is a gift. Treat it kindly. Allow yourself to be seen by eternal eyes. Whew. Yeah. Okay, the desert, the drought, the wasteland, the badlands. The desert leaves us disoriented, desperate for direction, grasping for meaning, longing for solid ground. For endless miles, we are confronted with a lack of clarity and existential dread. We are thirsty, hungry, pleading with life to get back to normal, to become animated by the simple pleasantries of day-to-day life. The desert offers no such comfort, and all must pass through it. If you can embrace the discomfort of the desert, knowing you will someday reach water again, you can tap into the potent energy of the landscape. Its lights are blindingly bright, and its darks are terrifyingly deep, which makes for unbridled creativity and clairvoyant visions. Truths reside in the desert that otherwise remain hidden. The crows, the shadows, and the coyotes' call surround you. Let the winds and sands work their deep magic, weary traveler. The desert is alive and pulsing with energy, despite its desolate appearance. Turn toward it rather than away from it. When in the throes of the desert, contemplate the following. You are not alone. You have more supplies with you than you think. Water is very near. Yes. There is this energy of moving through desolation, what feels like spiritual desolation, but you are not alone. And it is most important that in these times when you are moving through this desert energy, that you remember your spirit. You remember your ancestors. You remember your connection to the divine. You remember that you are the divine. I don't know if this story will help, but I remember at one point I was dealing with a very, very nasty work situation, and I just didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't understand why it was happening, and I didn't understand why, no one was being upfront with me, and I was crumbling. I mean, it was one of my first positions where I felt like I had no recourse, I had no understanding. I was much younger then. But I went to my mother with this issue, and I just said, I don't know what to do. And I started crying. And she stepped up to me, took me by the shoulders, and she said, you have a lineage of women before you who have gone through multiple unmedicated childbirths, working through slavery, through hard marriages, through working in the fields. You have women who have hustled in your lineage, women who have had to make things happen because no one else was going to do it for them. You come from a strong line of women. You do not stop here. You do not let this one thing stop you. And that was, for me, a small piece of water in the desert. Like a small, it was the well that kind of opened up. And so here, what I will say is, remember your ancestors. Remember your tie to the divine. Remember that you are a spirit. Remember that you are the divine. You may not be able to see it, and this is where you need to have this connection to the divine so ingrained in you and your rituals and your daily actions that you never have to question your existence. You never have to question your importance or the need for you. You need you. You need you. That's all that is. So let's go ahead and let's get some tarot out, even though, not quite sure what the reading is going to be for this. Maybe it will tell us about this journey that you're going on, that maybe you find yourself in the desert. Spirit, tell us what is this about? What is this about? What is this about, Spirit? This is about the ending of a cycle. The ending and beginning of a new one. Interesting. But it's almost like, oh, this is freedom. Wow, you're being freed from, this is the end of a karmic cycle. But you just don't know which way to go. You don't know which way to go. Interesting. Which way do you go? Knight of Wands. Interesting. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Wow. Well, I did say it was the end of a karmic cycle. The cutting of ties. It's funny. I don't talk about it often, but even in this, I'm seeing the journey of, in the Judeo-Christian, I guess it's Judeo-Christian, there is the story of the desert. There is the story of Jesus in the desert, when he was being kind of honestly, unfairly jostled between God and the devil. And Jesus had to lean on his faith. But here we see that this is the end of some sort of a toxic cycle of trying to balance between two things. This is really you understanding your divinity within you, regardless of God or the devil, right? But really it is the ending of some sort of a toxic cycle at the very end of the day. So let's see. Yep. The world's beginning and endings. Let's pull out the helper cards here so we can get a little bit deeper. So yeah, this is the dissolution of all binaries. That's, you know, there's no good and bad. It's just you within you. I think that's the lesson here. And it could be that you are tied to the toxic belief of good versus bad. You know, hell versus heaven, that kind of a thing. There is this idea of wholeness, and you understand where you stand in both of those things. Both of those things exist inside of you. You see how you encompass the binary, right? Which means there's a dissolution of the binary once it is made whole in you. There's also a flexibility here and a wholeness. Wholeness, I said that before. Let's look at the Knight of Wands. Is very interesting in this one, so I want to see what that one is about. Typically, the Knight of Wands for me is about someone who is rushing to take action, but they're very they're not super immature, but they're very young. This is very new energy. And if you can look at the Knight of the Wands card, you can see him traveling through, look at that, the desert. Someone is coming, rushing toward you, I sense. And there's some sort, this is connected to the sign of Sagittarius too. So someone must be, either you are coming into a new adventure, someone is coming in with an invitation even to pull you out of this, what should I do? Pull you out of this stuckness. Someone is coming to rescue you from the desert. This is so interesting. Not only are they coming to rescue you, and I don't know who the they is, maybe it's some opportunity or some kind of adventure, but someone is coming to pull you out of this desert with a new opportunity that is just for you. Now, if you look at it with this Ace of Pentacles, you've got the Knight of Wands here and the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles shows an oasis, a garden, something fruitful, something that you can grow on. Wow. All right, so I'm going to put these aside, and I want to get some guidance for us because this is quite wonderful reading. I'm going to use the Shamanic, Mystical Shamanic deck. Let's get some guidance here. But yeah, this is coming out of the desert. But you won't learn this lesson unless you truly appreciate the divinity that rests in you, specifically you. Your divinity is not external, right? Okay, Spirit, wow. We've got the drum in reverse. Spirit, do you have any other guidance for this reading? Any other guidance for this reading, Spirit? Ooh, okay. We have the ghost dance and the staff in reverse. Okay, I'll take it. Let's see, where's the book? Here it is. All right. So first up we have the drum in reverse, card 15. Yes. Okay. The essence. The rhythm of the drum tunes you to the beating heart of the universe. Its wood frame links you to the trees and helps you journey to the lower world via the roots and the upper world through its branches. The drum skin gives the shaman the powers of the animal kingdom. Striking the drum calls forth the power of the thunder and the rumbling of the earthquake. The drum invites a trance state where healing and prophecy happen. The medicine. You travel to the beat of a different drum. It's time to acknowledge you do not fit a mold or a role or relationship that is not in tune with you. Find your rhythm. Respond to the heartbeat of the distant drum. The price you pay for lingering becomes higher with each passing day. Now is the time to move on. Here's the thing I'm feeling and sensing. You are trying to stay somewhere that is no longer watering your growth. There's no water there. There's no sustenance there for you. You're trying to stay somewhere and you're not meant to. It is time to move on. It is time to let go of a toxic cycle. It is time to get going. Believe in yourself. Go on an adventure. Go on a new journey. Okay, let's take a look at the ghost dance. Okay, the essence. The ghost dance of the American Plains Indians united the spirits of the living with those of the ancestors to bring peace to the world. When the ancestors are honored, they bring harmony to us. When we hold them responsible for all that is wrong with us today, they haunt us. Honor the spirits of the ancestors and receive their lessons and gifts. This includes honoring your own past lives. Look at that. The prayer and the unseen in the desert. You have and what did I say with the example story that I gave? You come from a long line of strong people who have done harder things, believed in themselves through things. And now is the time for you to have that same faith in yourself, not only from that ancestral lineage of the physicality of it, but the spiritual aspect of it too. Okay, let's read the invitation here. The ancestors have a message of healing and a powerful medicine to offer you. Create a sacred moment at your altar. Light a candle to them and let their wisdom infuse you. At this stage in your life, you are done repeating their tragic stories. Step into the abundance that is offered to you. Receive the gifts of those that have come before you and write a new story for your life. That's homework here. I want you to write a new story for your life. I want you to pick up a journal as soon as this reading is over. Write a new story for your life. Get out of it. I think that's even this 9 of Wands energy. This is what's going to get you out by writing that down. Okay, now we've got the staff in reverse. That's card 51. Let's see. I'm not quite sure how that resonates, but I'm hoping that this also resonates. It's interesting too. I see the thing that stands out for me here is that I see that there's this crescent moon hanging off of this, I guess it's a giraffe, or the staff. It's hanging off of this, and as I'm doing this reading, we're in a crescent moon. So use this energy wisely. The staff is the symbol of authority. It holds the power to temper extremes. The staff helps you find the right course of action, the way of the middle, and aids you to maintain your balance after you begin walking in that direction. Moses carried a serpent staff through the desert. Moses carried a serpent staff through the desert, and with it he could summon the power of nature to heal or call plagues. The staff reminds you of the impermanence of all things, and that your authority must come from your deep longing to serve. The medicine. You are caught in the delicate balance between opposing forces, between masculine and feminine, between action and non-action. Use this to your advantage, as there can be no day without night, no low without high, no wrong without right. This is the time to take corrective action, beginning with your beliefs about what needs to be fixed or repaired. Let destiny take its course, nudging it slightly along. What did I talk about with this being whole, the journey to being whole. You're not just caught in this delicate balance, you are the balance. All right, that is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.